What's up, guys? Today we're gonna be reacting to the college football playoff bracket. I watched it. I'm very disappointed, and I just want to tell y'all how I feel about this. So let's get into it.
The path starts right now with the unveiling of the 12 teams in the college football playoffs. The journey goes to Miami Gardens, Florida, Hard Rock Stadium, January 19th. That is where the national championship game will be played. 12 teams in the field. The 5 highest-ranked conference champions, no matter which conference they come from. And then the next 7 highest-ranked teams after that will make up the 12 teams. So, Zach, our graphics operator, has everything ready to go. So let's start with the #1 team in the final college football playoff rankings. It is the Big Ten champion, Indiana Hoosiers. Indiana, #1 for the first time.
I honestly forgot like every single one of them besides Notre Dame, which I am going to talk about at the end because I think it's very
45 just this year. They got out of the cellar for the losingest team in the history of the sport.
We should have gotten.
And now they go into this playoff #1, the Signetti turnaround.
I'll just talk about it at the end.
Bill Snyder, Kansas State, the greatest turnaround in college football history.
I feel like that's pretty.
Ohio State and Indiana just flipped spots. So the last 2 national champions have been.
Yeah, well, they lost by 3. Only dropped down. Yeah, all right.
From the Big Ten, and 1-2 will again be from B1G.
And I think Ohio State, a little bit of question. Would it be Georgia at 2? Would it be Ohio State at 2? Committee has looked in the past at, hey, good loss, close loss. We're not going to crush you for it. They don't in the case for the Buckeyes as well, and I think it's probably makes a lot of sense to have them at 2.
Now, we've talked about this
all right.
teams at the top of the bracket at Atlanta yesterday.
Without a doubt, we came into this thing, I was talking about identity, and when it comes to identity, no one knows who they are more than the Georgia Bulldogs. They are a physical team, and they'll take you to the phone booth, and if you can't deal with them in the phone booth, you got no shot of beating them. Controlling the line of scrimmage. They held Alabama to -3 yards rushing. Hello, and you talk about Gunnar Stockton, his ability.
Just help me make this make sense, bro, because -3 rushing yards. They lost the SEC championship, and they're 10-3. Lost to in week 1. Lost to Florida State. They never moved. They stayed at 9. It's just, bro. I'm so mad, bro.
To improve throughout the season. And the defense was young early on, but they're seasoned veterans now. I don't think anybody wants to see this version of the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they're good.
Somebody's going to, but you'll have to win a game to get there. Remember, last year Georgia got a bye. Didn't work out well for them. Notre Dame beat them in the Sugar Bowl. They'll try to put together a better run this time around. #4 game on campus.
Texas Tech.
The Red Raiders, Big 12 champion, their first conference championship since 1954. And the Red Raiders are seeded 4th, and there they are in Lubbock celebrating what Joey McGuire and company have done.
Yeah, and what they were able to do is beat them.
All right.
Now, team that has a home game, seeded #5.
Oregon.
The Oregon Ducks. So 3 of the top 5 teams in the country are from the Big Ten.
I think
Dan Lanning's team will open in Eugene.
I think they should.
And I just love when it comes to Oregon.
I mean,
they
I
know
feel
who
like
they are. Dante Moore's been playing outstanding.
I guess.
Kenyon Sadiq, the best tight end in America.
I think this upcoming numbers, the first one where there could be some drama at 6, because you look at it, all assuming that 11 and 12 are going to be G5 teams that won their conference. 6 versus 7 is potentially significant.
Okay, bro. Please.
Take into account what your first-round matchup might be. So will it be Ole Miss like it was last week, or will it be A&M, who dropped big time after the loss to Texas?
Greg, that is a tremendous setup because it plays a huge role in who your first-round opponent is, and it is Ole Miss. Pete Golding's
Wait,
team
if Ole Miss
now
is
seeded
6,
they'll play at home.
Wait, if they're 6, then who's? Okay, no, I'm not even going to say it.
Against the 11 seed,
I'm not going to say
which will be one of the last 2 highest-ranked conference champions.
And Oxford is going to be buzzing down there. Good for Pete Golding.
Bro, Lane Kiffin is such a traitor, bro.
He's now the permanent head coach. Lane Kiffin, the coach at LSU.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin just went to LSU.
To come back and call the play. So now
his team is in the playoffs. Why? I don't know. He just cares about money.
have a staff together, and they're ready to make a run. Trinidad Chambliss, Kawan Lacey, this defense, they feel really good about what they have now in Oxford, Mississippi.
So Ole Miss will have a home game, the biggest game in the history of Ole Miss football.
They don't have a coach.
It will be. Yeah. They will win the party, and they'll try to win the game. Another home game.
They don't have a
seeded
coach
7.
in the rank.
Gig 'em. Mike.
What? I think that's kind of met. No. Ole Miss and Texas A&M should be switched up. A&M at 6 and then Ole Miss at 7. Yeah, I don't think they just lost their coach. I think they should just. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean they have to go down a ranking, but I still think A&M is a little bit better. To me, I don't know.
Elko's team lost its regular season finale at Texas.
I know they lost to Texas, but still,
Kept them out of the SEC championship game. Good consolation prize. Home game with the winner getting Ohio State.
And I got to be honest, if I'm A&M, I have a bit of a gripe, frankly, because A&M, you look at their strength of schedule played, they're sitting there at 16. They're sitting one spot behind Ole Miss, whose strength of schedule resides at 41. You can say, well, the best win for Ole Miss, Oklahoma. Well, they went to Notre Dame and knocked off the Irish, who might be a top 10 team and a college football playoff team as well. So the first disagreement I have so far, but still, A&M, excellent football team. It'll be a difficult matchup.
I always
and then the final team to get a home game in this year's college football playoff.
They're struggling offensively.
Now, the Sooners have struggled mightily on offense. Their defense is tough, and we had 3
like
SEC
terribly,
home
not
games.
even like
And you mentioned the
minorly.
offense. I don't know that I've seen a team in the past few weeks.
Their defense, bro. Bro.
that have defensively made plays when they need to, whether it's a blocked field goal, whether it's a pick
their
six.
Their
when
defense
offense has been struggling,
is like scary.
The defense has stepped up and made plays, created opportunities
Defense,
to make it easier on their offense. If they can play that way, they have a chance to make a run, but their offense has to get better.
Okay, these are the teams that have the home games, and while I agree with Greg, there's a lot that you could dispute about Ole Miss and Texas A&M and the order there. This was the relatively easy part for the committee.
Here comes the hard part. Yep, there we are, Notre Dame.
Again, I just want to emphasize this. I'm not trying to talk to everybody like they're kindergartners, but just remember, 2 more conference champions have to go into the field. They are highly unlikely to be ranked in the top 12, so they're going to displace 2 teams in the rankings. So that means there are only 2 spots left. These are the contestants. Alabama, which lost in the SEC championship game, and the much ballyhooed debate between Notre Dame and Miami. So, number 9, who will go to Norman, Oklahoma? And it's Alabama.
Okay. Here's where I can talk. You're saying Ohio State went down a ranking. They lost in their conference championship. Indiana beat them by a field goal. They went down. Dude, Texas Tech beat BYU. Now they're not in. Texas Tech beat them by a lot. I get that. They went down. They went down. So you're saying 10-3 Alabama, 10-3 Alabama, who lost by 21 to Georgia, doesn't move a ranking. I don't know. I need someone to tell me why they're still at number 9. 10-3. 3 losses, which again in week 1 lost to Florida State. I don't get it.
Maybe the game that had Alabama sitting on the bubble, they'll get a chance to avenge that game.
Yeah, and I think when you look at this, you kind of saw it going in this direction already with Ohio State being 2. A team that also lost their conference championship game. They weren't overly penalized. They dropped just 1 spot and flipped to the team right behind them to acknowledge the head-to-head. I think they clearly drew conclusions about Alabama based on a 12-game sample size. And that's the way it should be evaluated when you take into account the teams they were being evaluated against had just 12 data points to evaluate. So Alabama needing to get back on track offensively, need desperately to get healthy.
See,
but they have an opportunity, like you said, Reese, to avenge that regular season loss.
But, you know, I will say this. I understand the concept of not being overly punitive for a conference championship game.
I don't agree with that at all. I don't.
If you're going to play them, they need to have stakes both ways to win the conference championship and what happens if you lose.
They have to count somehow. And we're talking about Alabama maybe having the best win in the sport by going to Athens. They also have one of the worst losses by losing to Florida State.
No question.
So
yeah.
we just cannot
like,
erase
why?
that. I'm surprised at this move right here.
Okay, but the one thing, we'll have time for this. You have to define loss. By record, absolutely. If you go by power rankings, Florida State's still top 30. I'm not trying to excuse it. I'm just saying all of these things you factor in and try to define them. So now we're down. We're basically back where we started. There's one spot left in terms of at-large teams, and it almost certainly is going to be Miami or Notre Dame. So, number 10, and it is Miami without.
Yep. Head to head, it was close. It was. Week 1, sure we lost by a field goal. They're good. I'll tell you that. They're good. But we didn't play too good against Stanford. We played good, but we did beat them by like 29, I think. Which is great. I don't even know what to say because we had, the only people that we played after we lost to Miami and A&M were Pitt and USC. We won those two, but we did lose to A&M and Miami in week 1 and 2. But Miami has had upsets that we haven't had. They lost to Louisville and SMU lost to Cal, which makes their loss even worse. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. A&M ranked number 7. They should have been 6. I don't know. I think we got screwed.
Wow. Without playing on the final Saturday, Notre Dame had been ranked ahead of them the entire.
I wish that it was just Miami and Notre Dame that got in. I would have been happy with that. The only thing that I'm really not happy about is that Bama is sticking the same place. They lost the conference championship by 21 points, and they didn't even drop. They're still in the playoffs with 3 losses.
Time.
I don't know.
And now they flipped them, Joey.
Yeah, this is very strange to me. And again, Reese, you mentioned earlier that they hadn't compared these two teams. Well, why not? They're humans, and they should have absolutely compared these two teams. We had a ranking come out on Tuesday. If they were going to flip these two teams that did not play, they should have done it on Tuesday. Now, this Miami team, the way they're playing the last few games, they're
good. They're good. I wish it was just Notre Dame and Miami that got in.
Very good football team to have a chance to win just like any other team. But it is strange to me that you have two teams that were sitting on the couch yesterday that somehow flipped in their rankings.
I want to take just a second, then I'll let you make your point, Booger. There's not a lot of difference in terms of the entire body of work if you're looking at the analytics. Notre Dame's a little bit higher in FPI, which is a forward.
Yep, well, that's pretty much going to be the end of the video. End of the video. I'm just very upset at Bama. I don't know why they're still in the playoffs, but
looking measure.
Yeah, if y'all want to see the rest, just in case.
If we're going to make was a better
with the decision.
They're just gonna yap about how
The green wave at the watch party in New Orleans.
Yep, Tulane. Tulane at number 11.
Head coach, but Ole Miss without
That's going to be an easy
You
first
mentioned the
round.
5
I'm sorry,
touchdowns.
but
We
it is.
saw Duke in Virginia. It was a rematch last night, and Duke came out. Duke lost by 17.
Last spot, the team.
And then the last spot.
Chesney's on his way out too, but he will continue
And
to
you.
coach the Dukes.
And good for them, too. If you watch that football team, they are a team. In every possible way.
That's going to be
Eugene
an
will
easy
a
first
massive
round. I'm sorry.
task, but
It's just the
I
truth.
think that team
Oregon is going to come on top of James Madison. Ole Miss is going to come on top of Tulane. I have A&M beating Miami and Oklahoma beating Alabama. But that's going to be the end of the video. Hope you all enjoyed. Yeah, see y'all in the next one.